Welcome to Heaping Spoonful, a twice-monthly conversation with restaurateurs, chefs, growers, and others who have helped generate the legends associated with eateries across the Mid-South. The team at Benny Keith is proud to sponsor this adventure with the goal of preserving the stories that have helped cultivate an amazing food scene across the Mid-South. So kick back and enjoy a Heaping Spoonful.
All right, everybody, it is the first or third Tuesday of the month. That means it is Heaping Spoonful right here at Benny Keith Studios out of Rose City. My name is Brian McFadden. I'm chef owner of Brewed and Barley right in the heart of Argenta in Dogtown. I'll tell you what, the person that I have on the podcast today is one of those people that has been in the business for such a long time, and is that person that every time I see him, every time he steps in foot at Brewed and Barley, I always want to chat with him. There's always something to learn from somebody that's been in the business for such a long time, and that's where I strive to get to. How long you been in the business for?
Started in 1990.
1990.
35 years.
35 years. So the person sitting across the table from me today is Henry Lee of Vino's. Man, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm happy I finally got you on.
I'm glad to be here.
We had some rescheduling a little bit, and it was so funny. I actually I had my calendar all messed up, and I actually had texted Henry last week and was like, man, I got this doctor's appointment that I got to head to. And he was like, dude, we're not even scheduled until the 20th. It shows where my head's at right now.
Yeah, but it gets that way sometimes.
I mean, it really does. It really does. So, dude, 1990.
Right.
We're going to get into that in a second. But what I really want to know, man, is like, we sat here and talked for about 15 minutes, before I hit any buttons. Right. And I just realized that there's a lot that I don't know about you.
It's an interesting story at times.
So, where are you from? Like, where are you from?
I was born and raised in South Louisiana, in Morgan City, Louisiana, which is kind of between New Orleans and Lafayette.
Okay.
So really, I'm a Cajun.
Okay. All right.
Not really, because my mom's from Honduras and my dad's from Baton Rouge.
Oh, wow.
So I got a little bit of mixed culture going on there.
You got a little bit of everything going on there. Heck yeah. So how'd you make it here? How'd you make it to Arkansas?
All right. This is the fun part. Graduated from Louisiana Tech with an engineering degree.
Okay.
Worked in the oil field building offshore oil platforms for about 8 years.
Wow.
Then I went to work for a friend of mine doing some non-regulated securities, funding the savings and loan crisis back in the mid-'80s.
Okay.
We were just pumping money into all these failing savings and loans until they could get rid of them.
Right.
And most of my clients, truthfully, were investment houses up here in Little Rock.
Oh, wow.
So at one point, I decided I kind of wanted to move. I was living in Destin, which wasn't a bad thing, but it was a little bit of a different kind of lifestyle down there.
Right.
And so one of my biggest clients was up here, and I came to visit him one year for a week and met some of the other people that were doing this stuff that I had talked to on the phone. Mm-hmm. My buddy Alan Venice, who eventually became one of the 3 partners in starting Vino's, I talked to him probably 20 times a day, easily. I knew him better than I knew my brothers.
Wow.
So I came up here, I got offered a job, and I decided to move up here and just continue doing the same thing. And at that point, we knew what we were doing was going to come to an end because the government was trying to shut all these bad savings and loans down.
Right, right.
So we were sitting around, Alan Venice and Bill Perotti and I were sitting around one day, and what do y'all want to do? They were both in the investment business. It was like, man, there's no good pizza place in Little Rock because we really, we had U.S. Pizza, and we had the Shakey's things, kind of the history of the pizza in Little Rock. Mm-hmm. So we had some friends in Atlanta that owned Fellini's Pizza, which they had about 7 of them at that point. And they agreed to help us out and get it started. And so we decided, all right, we're going to do it. We're just going to open up a pizza place. So we looked around. It took us 6 or 8 months to kind of figure out, get our bearings and decide we really wanted to quit our regular jobs. And so we got that going. And it just so happened the building we chose, just because it felt really good in the location we're at now, the building just felt good when we walked in it.
Yeah, it's a great location.
It was all boarded up, and it was, I call them used car lot lights hanging on the ceiling and stuff like that.
Right.
But the music came with it. They were doing shows there. It was kind of the punk hangout.
Yeah.
So we just kept that going while we were doing construction, and just gave us another avenue to make a little bit of money while we were trying to build this place out. And it just seemed to work, so we just kept it going.
Dude, I mean, well, it obviously, it definitely works. And, this is something that we touched on too. I mean, what you're running over there, you're basically running 3 businesses. I mean, you got the pizza side of things, you got the music side of things, but also you're also brewing your own beer too.
Right. What our goal when we first opened up was there were no good beers, and no place served any good beers in Little Rock except the place in the mall, the cheese place or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Can't remember what the name of it was. Anyway, Dunderbox, that was it.
Okay.
So we decided we wanted to bring in some good beers. And so we worked with the Harbor Distributing at the time. We were the first place in the state to bring in Guinness, Bass, and Harp on tap.
Hell yeah.
And so we did that. Yeah, there we go. And so we built a really good beer drinking clientele. I mean, and what goes better than with pizza than beer anyway?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then so, that was 1990. 92, 93, you started seeing a lot of these places being refurbished, refitted for in-house breweries.
Yeah.
Small breweries all around, kind of a new wave of brewing going on here in the States. And we decided, man, we just take advantage of our clientele already that was there, the built-in beer clientele that we had, and just try and start doing it ourselves. So we started on that journey, which was
it's a journey.
A bit of fun. Well, we started out brewing 30 gallons at a time upstairs in a converted jacketed steam kettle that we bought at auction from Cummins Prison. Our mash tun, where all the grain and everything goes, was a giant igloo ice chest with a copper screen on the bottom that we made ourselves. Wow. And we were fermenting in 50-gallon trash cans, plastic trash cans.
Right.
So we had no temperature control.
Yeah.
In the summers, it just over-fermented. We had problems with the brewing space that we had set out was right above where the pizza exhaust oven came out.
Oh, yeah.
So we come in every once in a while, and the pizza yeast had consumed all the beer yeast, and it was just this rotten smelling 50 gallons of just disgustingness. So we finally decided a couple of years later, so that was 93. So I guess 94, 95, I had some help with a local banker friend of mine who was a big Guinness drinker.
There you go.
Said, you ever need anything, call me up. So 2 days later, I called him, and we bought a system and moved on from there.
Heck yeah.
That's where we're at now.
How much do you brew at a time right now?
Well, we brew 3.5 barrels is the size of our system, so we can brew 7 kegs at a time.
Okay.
But we're doing anywhere between 250 and 3.25 a year.
Okay.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. So it's not too bad for a small place like that.
And man, I am a big fan of like a brew pub, like I did brewery life for a while, even back home, but there's something about just like a small brew pub. I think it's more on the creative side of things. It's more like intimate. You know what I mean? And it's like you dial it in, you got some flagships, this is what we do.
Right.
But
you can experiment at the drop of a hat.
Yes.
We try to keep, we started out originally with 3 beers all the time. Cream ale, our Six Bridges Cream Ale, Firehouse Pale Ale, and our Lazy Boy Stout. Right. Well, we added, people wanted something a little more on the poppy side, so we did our India Pale, our Pinnacle IPA.
Okay, yeah.
So those 4 we always have. We try to always have. But we try to have at least 3 other specialty beers on at any one time. So I give the brewers, over the years, I've given the brewers pretty much free reign to do what they want. As long as those first 4 are there and up to snuff, then they've got a pretty broad range of freedom that they can just brew whatever they want.
Right.
So they have a lot of fun with it.
That's cool. Not many people do a cream ale either.
No, you get the. We didn't want a lager because we're built on an ale style of brewing because it's faster.
Yeah,
we put it out in 2 weeks instead of 5 weeks. With a lager, so the cream ale is basically a lager substitute ale. And we found that we called it our transition beer. People come in, they didn't know what they wanted. They usually drink Miller Lite, Budweiser. Have you tried one of our cream ales? Yeah. So it's the lost. I don't want to say lost leader because that's not the case, but it's our lead into people trying. Yeah, I mean, that's craft beers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's great. You have to have that. And like I said, man, not many people do a cream ale well. I mean, there's a brewery back home that does it. The Chamonix Creek back home in Philly, they do a good cream ale. But there's not a lot of big breweries that are doing like cream ales well, I feel. And I mean, when you talk about a cream ale, man, one, yes, it brews quick, which is good, but you have that mouth feel. You get a good mouth feel out of it, and like you said, it's a great transition beer. Because how many times you have those people that walk in the door and they're like, "Give me a Bud Light," and you're like, "Bro, listen."
We try to work with our folks and say, "Look, if somebody comes in like that, just ask them, have you tried any of our beers?"
Yeah.
What do you normally drink? You want a Bud Light? Here, take a sip of this. Try this. Give them a little sample of the cream ale and say, what do you think of that? And really about probably 60, 70% of the time, people will go, yeah, I'll take one of those. Oh, and it kind of starts them on that journey of let's try more craft beers.
Yeah. So let's talk about pizza here for a second.
Sure.
All right. So dude, when it comes to pizza, I think I might have had this conversation on this podcast a few times. And when I first moved here 5 years ago, I looked at, it's funny. Do you remember Ren? Ren was our social media manager. She started with us at Brood when we opened, you know.
I remember seeing her outside on the sidewalk taking pictures.
Oh, yeah. She was great. So we were testing all the cocktails for Brood. Dave Burnett, me, Jess, Dave Burnett, our opening crew, Melanie Wood, a few other people. And it was like, you know what? This is probably not a good idea to walk into this on an empty stomach.
And early in the morning.
And so I called Ren and I said, hey, I don't know anything around here like pizza-wise. Order a bunch of pizzas. And I'm not going to tell you where she ordered them from because that wouldn't be good.
There's room for everybody.
Because I guess I'm going to bash a little bit. And I was like, please tell me this is not the best pizza that's here. And she goes, Brian, I think this might be the best pizza that's here. Oh. And I was like, oh, Ren, don't do that to me. And like, look at me, Henry. Like, I don't.
Well, you and me both. Come on.
I don't turn food.
You don't miss a whole lot of meals.
And I had a few slices of that. You know, they were small pieces. And I was like, I think I'm done. And my cousin looked at me and he was like, you're not going to eat any more pizza? And I was like, no, I'm good. Just give me some cocktails. I'm fine. You know,
that's like I said earlier, that the main reason we opened a pizza place was because the three of us just didn't really like what was here. It wasn't the style of pizza that I wanted to eat, to go out and eat or have it delivered to my house or whatever.
Makes sense. What style would you consider Vino's pizza?
Strictly New York style, I would say.
New York style. Yeah.
Stone-baked New York style pizzas.
Heck yeah.
It's pretty typical of what a lot of people that don't live there think of New York style. Yeah. A crispy crust on the bottom, not a cracker crust.
Yeah.
But a good, solid baked crust with a nice little rim around the edges for the, for the outer crust.
Yeah.
So that's something that it's got a little substance to it, a little chewy.
Yeah.
A little crispy.
Yeah.
It holds up well when you can grab a slice and put it in between four fingers and it stands straight out there.
Heck yeah.
That's what a good pizza's all about.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. And I celebrate all kinds of pizza, but there's something about the first time that I had Vino's Pizza was actually one of the regulars at Brood and Barley. Was like, we had that same pizza conversation I just had with you, and he was like, man, have you had Vino's Pizza yet? And I was like, at the time, I was like, I thought Vino's was a music venue. And I just moved here, so I didn't know anything. And he was like, no, dude, they pizza first, and then, music and beer and stuff like that. But Vino's is probably the best slice of pizza you're going to get. And when I say slice, too, which is great, because you can walk in there and get a slice of pizza.
Get a slice. It's what I've told people all the time over the years, is that you got a couple of kids, we're the perfect place for you to come, because one wants cheese, one wants pepperoni, one doesn't want olives, one, whatever. One wants this, one wants that. And you can have your sausage and jalapenos if you want to. Yeah. Or your wife can have a vegetarian. I hate to say it that way, but no sexist overtones there. But but you can get it all by the slice. Yeah, it's awesome. And not many people are doing that down here. No, for sure. In Philadelphia, is every 50 feet you can get a cheesesteak and a slice of pizza. Down here, you don't see that much, so it's great. And I'll tell you what's become, it's really funny, because it's going to happen today. So I go to 7th Street to get tattoo work done. Right. And I go to Carl, shout out to Carl, okay. And I will go to your spot first. So they have like a strict, 1 o'clock is when they open. Right. And it's 1 o'clock on the dot. It's not 12:59. It's not 1:01. Move somebody in front of you. Yeah. So I'll come to your spot first, and I'll grab a couple slices of pizza, and then I'll go get tattoo work done. Well, the last time I had mine done, Rob did it for me, and I just bought a pizza party for everybody there, just because I was so happy with the tattoo, because he did a great job on it. And everything. Heck yeah. And I like all those guys. They're all good folks, and they're all regulars there. So I decided to treat them all. Hell yeah. They're all good people. Yeah. Good work too. Good work. Very good work.
But so I've gotten, this will be my 4th session with Carl, and that's kind of like my routine. And my wife knew when I left the house today. She's like, so let me get this straight. You have podcast with Henry Lee, and then you're going to go to Vino's and eat pizza, and then you're going to get a tattoo.
Perfect.
I said, you already knew. I mean, it sounds like a date
I have
to me.
to follow you over there and have a beer.
Heck yeah. So, all right, so New York style pizza. So, and you just said it the best, as far as it, like, well, I can picture it in my head, and I know how I eat it, like picking up a slice of New York style pizza. Yeah, nobody can see like the hand gestures that we're making.
I know both of us the same way.
Yeah, it's like the same thing. It's like
that same cupped hand right there.
Yeah, and you can fold it a little bit, and and it still sticks out straight. It doesn't flop. And that just, hey man. I mean, one of the tattoos I'm actually getting today is a slice of pizza.
No way.
So yeah. So it's like I'm all.
Well, one of the things I've always told people was that the biggest compliment anybody from out of town could give me, especially people that come down from the north of New York, tell me that it's the best pizza they've had outside of New York.
Hell yeah.
And I love that. I mean, that's kind of what
That's what you're
striving for, because that's what the style of pizza that we're doing.
Heck yeah.
I mean, great calzones. We've over the years, when we first started, we served pizza by the slice. We only had 3 types of calzones. We had one size salad, no sandwiches, and it was that was it. That was our menu. That was all. And so we've expanded it to a point over the years and adding a couple of different types of salads, chef salad and big salad, small salad, all that kind of stuff. Our lunch special, which is still the best lunch special in town, with a slice of pizza and a small salad and a soft drink for $11.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
We're trying to keep it that way. It's getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
But
You're preaching now. I hear that.
I could, and I'm not going to. I told myself I wasn't going to do it.
We might end up there. But so all right, well let's continue talking about the menu though. So it's funny because that same person, Ren, she was like, do you know what a calzone is? And I was like, Ren, did you just ask me what a calzone is? I was like, yeah, I know what a calzone is. And she was like, well, I never had a calzone, She's like, I never had one before. So I'm sure that there's people listening to this podcast right now that don't know what a calzone is. Can you explain that?
For years and years, the only place that really served them was Bruno's. And then, of course, they had gone out of business or shut down in different iterations over the years. Now they're back in business down on Main Street. But calzone's basically just like a pizza pocket. It's a folded over pizza with the only difference maybe you don't often see ricotta cheese on a flat pizza.
Right.
But you always get ricotta cheese in our calzones.
Oh, yeah.
Combination of ricotta and mozzarella. And then basically you can build it just like a pizza with whatever you want in it, really.
Oh, yeah.
And we've got some starters, 4 or 5 that are regulars on the menu.
Nice.
One of Vino special with everything in it, the vegetarian. Our pizza margarita that we'll do it as a calzone.
Oh, yeah.
A pepperoni mushroom, all the standards.
My wife always gets the margarita. She likes
That's been a great seller for us over the years. I put that on about 7 years into the venture, and everybody just loves that thing.
You use fresh basil, tomato.
Well, we actually, unfortunately, we don't use the fresh ingredients. We're using a chopped garlic. We're using a crushed basil. We're using fresh tomatoes.
Yeah.
And mozzarella and some Parmesan cheese and olive oil. No tomato sauce.
No tomato sauce.
No tomato sauce.
It makes me so happy that you said that, because that's another thing that's been my complaint, and not just here in Arkansas. It's been my complaint other places too, where you order a margarita pizza and they put tomato sauce on it.
That's not the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to look like the Italian flag.
Yes.
In fact, in most of from what I understand, in Italy, they would be like 4 quarters. One would be cheese, one would be sliced tomatoes, one would be the fresh basil. Oh. And so, or maybe it was thirds. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't know that, but it makes sense though. Yeah,
it was named for Queen Margherita, Italy. I don't know what year, in the 1700s or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, that combination of basil, cheese, tomatoes, and garlic and olive oil.
Okay.
That's what it's supposed to be.
That's one of my favorites. It's probably in my top 3. And it's 100% my wife's favorite, as long as they're making it right, and you are, because my wife will look at a server and she'll be like, "Is there tomato sauce on your margarita pizza?" And if that server says yes, she's like, "I don't want it."
I will say that we do have it on our slices, just because that's the only way we can really do the pizza slices. That
makes sense.
It has some tomato sauce on them, but
because
we let people know that ahead of time.
Yes. All right, so other than the calzone, all right, this is something that I ask everybody. So had the pizza, had the calzone. If I'm coming in your spot and I'm like, yeah, I'm not in the mood for pizza today.
We make a killer muffalata.
Really?
With using ingredients that we already have on the menu, but we're using New Orleans Italian loaf, Leidenheimer's,
Okay, yeah.
and which is it's pretty authentic New Orleans.
Yeah, yeah.
And we do it with instead of provolone, we do our mozzarella cheese, and we don't do mortadella. We're doing ham and pepperoni,
Yeah, yeah.
and just the olive salad. We do have New Orleans olive style salad or New Orleans style olive salad.
Oh, yeah.
Say that right. It goes on there, and it's a really good sandwich.
I didn't know that you made that.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't. We make a killer meatball sandwich too, with just we use our beef meatballs. They're smaller, 1 ounce, about 1 ounce beef meatballs in our sauce, mozzarella cheese on top. Stick it under the oven, let it crisp up and cheese brown a little bit.
Heck yeah,
Kind of traditional, meatball sandwich.
dude. People that listen to this podcast on a regular basis have heard me talk about meatballs before. So I know there's certain people right now that are probably like rolling their eyes. Like, if this son of a bitch starts talking about meatballs again, I'm going to freaking kill him. But dude,
I bet your grandmother sat at the house and sat you at the table and said, all right, this is how you make them.
dude,
Meal, and did she mix them all up with everything?
dude, I am that person, man, where I think that you judge an Italian place by their meatballs. And of course their sauce, the red sauce.
Sure.
But like their meatballs. And there's a few people around here. I haven't had your meatballs yet, but I might get some
I hate
today.
to say that they're not handmade.
Yeah, but whatever. But there's only a few places around that I'm like, get the meatballs. And my wife, we'll go out to dinner and, she'll be like, you're not going to get because I'll get a meatball for an appetizer or, something like that. And, we were at George's and we ordered a bunch of appetizers. And I was like, my wife was like, do you want the meatballs? And I was like, nah, we got enough stuff. And then the server went to walk away and I was like, man, just give me the fucking meatballs.
Oh, you had to try them.
Yeah, I was like, but there's only a few places around here, the meatballs, that I'm like, all right, I'll have the meatball and I'll go back for them. You know what I mean? But I can't have that conversation again, or these people just turn the radio off. They'll turn the podcast off.
That's all right. Just come have one of Venus.
Yeah, just have one of Venus. Yeah, yeah. You're using the Leidenheimer for the meatball subs too?
No, we're using a San Francisco sourdough.
For
that.
sourdough.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just gives it a little more body to it.
Yeah.
It holds up really well, especially on the meatball. It holds up real well.
Yeah, because
And of course, that Leidenheimer's, that's just great bread.
yeah.
But yeah, our subs are our sandwiches. We do our ham and cheese and a turkey and cheese, and we do a chicken BLT, and we do one that's got pepperoni and ham and lettuce and tomato and all that kind of stuff on it.
Heck yeah.
So we've got about 6, 7 different sandwiches. One of my favorite pizzas lately has been this. We do a BLT pizza. So we put, and you can pick either chicken or ham, and all of them will have bacon on them. Mm-hmm. But we put mozzarella and Parmesan, and mozzarella and cheddar cheese, and some Parmesan. But put the meat on there, sauce it and everything, and put it in the oven, let it cook, all that cook. Then when it comes out, we'll throw the chopped up lettuce and tomato on there with Italian dressing on it, cold afterwards.
Yeah.
It makes a really good pizza that way.
Dude, that's the way to do it, man. Now, is that on the menu or is that special?
That's on the menu.
Heck yeah. Do you run a lot of specials over there?
Okay, we have our regular, weekday and weekend specials. Mondays we do from 4 to close. We do. I'm sorry, I take that back. From 6 to close, we do $2 off calzones.
Okay.
And then Tuesdays. Mondays is $2 off calzones. Tuesdays is $3 off any whole pizza. Wednesdays we do cheap beer happy hour. Hell yeah. Then on Saturday from opening till 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, I can't remember what we decided on this new one. Anyway, we do cheap beer again.
Heck yeah.
So, you can get, I think our beers are $5 1/4 at happy hour, $5 at happy hour, something like that.
Heck yeah.
16-ounce pint.
Dude,
of our house beers.
I think that is like kind of like a mark of a good pizza shop. Like you run like specials every day. I mean, that's the pizza shops that I grew up in back home is always like, yeah, Mondays are this. I worked at a place too called Mark's Pizza, and I was definitely just that dude, like just in the back. I was a kid, just shredding cheese and making sauce and doing stupid shit in the back that I shouldn't have been doing, but it was like Mondays was, slicing it. Now this was a very long time ago. So don't, but it was like 2 slices of pizza and a soda, and it was like $4, and that was in the 90s, that was that long, it was a very long time ago.
Oh, I looked back at an old menu the other day, and I just wish we could go back to that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it'd be great, but you just can't do it anymore.
Eat for $5.
That's another thing that we touched on, man. It's like so many people out there. Like you get people that come in the Brood and obviously we have a lot of friends in the business and we talk all the time about, prices and everything like that. It's like a lot of people don't understand. I mean, when you go grocery shopping anymore, I mean, I walk out with the stuff. I don't even take a cart to my car anymore. I can carry it all.
And you still spent that $100 bill.
Exactly. It's nuts. It's nuts.
I at this point, I don't have any kids and usually shopping for 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I still feel like I'm spending that $100 bill and I've got like 3 days worth of food or something like that.
Exactly.
So imagine that on a restaurant scale. And we already work in a business that's on the smallest margins, probably in commercial business in the States,
Yeah.
Most people are on a 3 to 4%, profit margin.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's hard enough as it is. And it's getting tough. And we're all seeing the problems that are going on right now. I think every one of us is fighting to continue to try and draw the crowds that we have been able to over the years because people just can't afford to go out and eat right now. It's tough. You're competing with a lot of entertainment dollars because that's what basically eating out is.
Yeah, for sure.
Your entertainment dollars. But working on those small margins, you just have to, and I don't want to say cut corners because that's not really the case, but you're trying to provide as quality a product within certain boundaries so that you can still keep it affordable.
Yeah.
And it's just getting harder and harder.
And, I think a lot of the key is obviously it's the part of the job that I hate the most is like sitting behind my laptop and looking at those numbers, and which I've done a lot recently. And, not just looking at the numbers, but, I'm sitting in the office and it's like some days I'm like, man, I just want to fucking cook. Like, I just want to cook, but I got to look at these. Like the last menu changes that we did at Brood, a lot of it was just like pricing. And not everything went up. Some stuff actually came down. But it's like, we released a whole new menu and everybody was like, this is a new menu. What's new? I'm like, there's not a whole lot of new stuff on there. It's just...
Well, that's what drives me crazy about, when you're looking at the numbers. And as an owner, you have to look at the numbers constantly. Always.
Yeah.
Especially on the 20th. But trying to increase when you know that you've got to increase prices a certain amount, you can't. It's almost impossible to just go, all right, I'm going to do 10% across the board.
Yeah.
Some things you just can't do that with, and so you've got to balance it out. And unfortunately, I don't have that cutthroat mentality that I don't care what it costs. I'm just going to do it, and then people either buy it or they don't.
Yeah.
No, because I care about the people that come in the store. I understand the struggles everybody's going through. I'm the same way. I hadn't exactly gotten rich.
Yeah, exactly.
Vino's has provided a comfortable living, but I'm not driving a new car every year.
Yeah, exactly.
But trying to balance out these price increases for survival and still provide people with a value and quality that makes it worth coming out to eat is a hard balance.
Yeah.
It really is.
For sure. And so I want to touch on this real quick, and then we're going to take a quick break. But after the break, I want to talk about the culture that you have over there.
Okay.
And about the customers, because I know what you have going on over there.
It's pretty unique.
Yeah, for sure. And I want to touch on some music. So let's take a break real quick. We're going to pay some bills. Listen to Rusty's beautiful harmonizing voice. And we'll be right back with Heaping Spoonful.
I hope you're enjoying this episode of Heaping Spoonful. We at Benny Keith Foods enjoy talking about the food scene almost as much as we enjoy providing the top quality ingredients that help restaurateurs and chefs across the Mid-South create their magic. Now let's dive even deeper into the culinary world with your host, Chef Brian McFadden.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Heaping Spoonful. I am sitting here with Henry Lee of Vino's.
Hello.
Man, so open up in 1990, is that what you said?
1990.
Open up 1990. Okay. So, and you know, we talked a little bit about pizza. We talked about the menu, the other stuff you got going over there, the muffalata and the meatballs and that kind of stuff. And we were just talking before we took a break. We were talking about you know price changes and all that kind of stuff. And you said a couple things that is very much how my cousin Jess and I run Brood. And to be honest with you, I'm just gonna say it. Sometimes it's not always the best thing for a business.
No.
Sometimes we run the business with our heart, rather than our head. Sometimes,
My accountant screams at me every time I do.
Oh yeah. Like our accountant, shout out to Jeff Darling and his beautiful wife Andrea. They do our accounting for us, and Jess will be like, I talked to Jeff this morning, and Jeff said, and I'm like, man, don't say it. I don't want to say it. I know. I already know. But, man, and that's a little bit of the culture that you have at Vino's, man. Because, listen, I grew up in an Irish pub, okay? And that guy was too nice for his own good, and I know that we're not there. But, like, he was the guy that, like, he didn't want to raise his prices because he had so many regulars, and he knew that they couldn't afford it. You know what I mean? And we're going back years now, but sometimes you think about that. And I know that when we raise certain prices at Brood and other places that I worked, I actually see those people's faces in my head. And I'm like, man, this guy eats this shit every other day. And I'm going to raise this price. And
It's hard because I know that I've always been late. I don't want to say late to the party, but I've always been behind the curve in raising my prices.
Oh, we have so many times.
It to my detriment, to the detriment of the business in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
And that you got to struggle to kind of catch back up again.
Mm-hmm.
As you see, I don't react at every little jump. Like, oh hell, my lettuce went up this week. I got to raise the price of my salads.
Yeah.
Or something like. No, you eat a lot of those costs.
Yeah.
You have to as a restaurant, as a thriving ongoing business like that. But when it gets to that point, like I was saying, I just struggle with it. It's hard for me.
Yeah.
And then I'd go through it and all. I'd figure up all my price increases, and I let it sit for a day or two, and then I come back and look at it again, and I just wince.
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, can I handle this one? Is that just too much? People are going to start paying $35 for a pizza before long?
Yeah.
And that's a hard one.
Yeah, and it's also and when you sit back and think about it too, and my wife is so much smarter than me, and she'll be like, "Babe, I understand what you're thinking about." You know what I mean? But look at Jan, look at Kate, look at John, look at the people in your kitchen. Like, you have to pay them too, and like I know that you want to take care of them and give them more money. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to think about the customer. You got to think about your people, and it's a thing. And it's another thing that we touched on, before we started hitting any buttons is like, since it is a penny business, you're talking about like, hey, you're walking through the kitchen or you're walking in the pizza make station and you're like, hey guys, let's make sure this is taken care of right. This is taken care of right. I mean, I want to be able to pay you more money, but in order for me to do that, we got to make sure we're taking care of this product.
Well, that all comes down to training, I think. And I don't know about you, but I haven't been the best trainer over the years. Mm-hmm. It's so many times it's just throw them to the wolves and stand right next to them and let them run with it.
Yeah.
And you just make your changes and you teach on the fly. Mm-hmm. It's not the best way to do things, but I don't know. Sometimes we just get caught up in it that way.
It's true. And, a lot of the times, too, I think that's one of the reasons why my cousin and I work so good together is because when we're pricing stuff out, we'll sit there and we'll look at it and be like, okay, that's enough crawfish and that's enough sauce. But how can the person behind the line execute this 30 times and it be the same? How can we help them be successful and in turn, us be successful with that.
You try to draw the line between that everything's pre-measured
Yes.
to giving a little bit of a free hand, but there's got to be some balance there because if not, then costs just go out the window.
It's true. It's
And
true.
the next thing you know, you're spending 12% higher. You've got 12% higher food costs than what you should.
Yeah.
And that adds up to all of your dollars.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's everybody's vacations.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, it's like, and so we use portion scoops a lot. We do a lot of that kind of stuff. But I'll tell you, I got to walk on the line. Like, so I'm not going to be at Brood all that much today, but I will walk through the kitchen and I will make sure that all the proper portion scoops are where they need to be.
Make sure they've been using them.
And make sure they've been using them and, that kind of stuff. And I'm not a camera watcher, you know what I mean? So, like, I like to walk in the door and everybody see my face and know that I'm there and, that kind of stuff. But, it's a thing, man. I mean, it's certain. It certainly is a thing right now more than it's ever been. Yeah.
Definitely, just because like we were talking about, things are getting tighter, things are getting more expensive. And it's like, I don't know, I guess I'm a glutton for punishment. I started out in oil field business. I went into the investment business, and now I'm in the restaurant business. Safe businesses.
Yeah, it sounds like, yeah.
If I'd only known.
So, man, we touched on beer, we touched on food, dude. I want to talk about music.
Sure.
So it's really funny. So in my kitchen, and I know that I have some of our employees that listen to the podcast, and they're going to be like, great, Chef's going to start talking about music. and this is the reason, too, is because, so we give a little bit of, I call it like, a little ear freedom in the kitchen.
Right.
So somebody, I don't have one, but we have some of our employees, they bring they bring the Bluetooth speaker in, and it is a constant battle. Like, turn it down. They can hear it in the dining room.
Imagine that out in front of everybody that's in your restaurant.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a closed kitchen. It's all right there. And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
there are times when I'll walk in and just kind of lose it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
I try not to because, look, most of my kids, most of the folks working for me are in their 20s. Mm-hmm. The old ones are in their 30s. And I'm I'm mid-60s now. So I can't exactly talk all the same music with them like I used to be able to.
Right. Right.
And so I don't mind. Look, I've always had an open mind about music. That's for sure.
Yeah.
My playlist is as eclectic as it comes. But they sometimes they forget. They get behind that counter and the hood's going and compressors are running and everything's going. And the next thing you know, the music's like the ear-splitting level like we used to do it on Friday nights when we first opened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you had to scream at each other to be able to talk. Because it was loud and obnoxious way back then.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, with us, I love music so much that I look at the people in my kitchen and I'm like, if you make me tell you no music in the kitchen, I'm going to be so angry with you. So let's respect each other and let's respect the business, and we can all listen to music and everybody can take a turn and do that thing. And I've come really close a couple times to being like, no music, which would really piss me off because I love music while I'm cooking.
It drives me crazy when I walk in the restaurant and they hadn't put something back on when the playlist runs out or something. I'm like, why is it so quiet in here?
What's
wrong with y'all?
Yeah, you just got it.
I do everything to music pretty much, or some kind of background noise. I've got to have something going on.
Yeah, it's probably my ADHD, but I always need music going.
What I have.
But what I'm getting with this, so like I said, we started off by saying this is like you're running 3 businesses over there. We're going pizza, we're going beer, and we're going music.
Right.
So you have live music over there every weekend?
We try to have it every weekend, and over the years we've had something live going on at least 4 to 5 nights a week.
Heck yeah.
We're back to we do trivia on Monday nights, and then we're down to 2 or 3 nights on the weekends. Sometimes Thursday, Friday, sometimes just Friday, Saturday. And there's sometimes we have depends on if a band's coming through town that we want to book.
Right. We'll
book them on any night of the week.
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
But we also do so much other stuff. We've done just a tremendous amount and different variety of live entertainment over the years. One of our big things lately, we've been doing wrestling.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Where they set up a full wrestling ring in the back room back there, and it has gone over like gangbusters. Folks come out and we do it. I guess it's about once every month or 6 weeks or something like that. I don't know if it's a specific schedule, but somewhere along those lines. And it's been a blast. And over the years, we've done. They call themselves the Bloody Midgets, wrestling would come in and they didn't need a ring. They wrestled all over the back bar.
Oh, wow.
We had to buy them some brand new trash cans. They wanted dude to be up on the bar. He'd jump off with the trash can and smash the other one in the head. And have a bouncer walk around with him through the crowd and everything.
That's hilarious.
We've done plays. We used to have Red Octopus Productions, who was housed there for a number of years. It was an acting troupe. Did a lot of comedy type stuff. We bring in comedians sometimes. We've done fashion shows and swap shops and electronic sales and record sales and just lots of. I guess that's probably what made Vino's what it is as far as the culture goes, which you had mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Kind of segue into that is that when we first opened, we just did anything we could to get people in the door.
Right.
Somebody needed a place for a meeting for 10 people. Yeah, you can use the back room. We don't charge you anything. Just buy food and beer.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's continued on like that. We don't often charge for the use of the room unless we have to provide waiters, servers,
Right.
Bartenders, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And a sound man, and if we're doing a big party. But we can do parties from 200 people down to, like I said, 5 or 10.
That's awesome.
Sometimes we have 2 or 3 different groups going on at the same time. And especially, later on this year and coming up for the holidays, we always book a lot of stuff during the holidays.
You can rent the room out for the holidays.
You basically can rent the room out without having to pay a whole lot for the room.
That's awesome.
Depending on what kind of group it is, what you're doing, and how many people you expect, and that kind of thing. We're pretty lenient about that, just because we feel like if we get people in there, we make our money off of food and drink.
Yeah. And say if I was coming in there and I said, Henry, I got 100 people, but I want you to do it all. Like I want food and everything. You do it all.
We can do it all. We'll set up buffets. We set out salads, self-serve salads, and we'll cut your pizzas in smaller pieces and stuff, and keep bringing them out as long as you tell us to. If you want,
That's awesome.
Set them back there, and everybody can self-serve themselves. We do a beer dinner every couple 3 times a year where we're just serving a bunch of different beers, not only our own,
Right.
but paired up with some pizzas and maybe some specialty foods and stuff. And every now and then on the holidays, we'll bring out a special pizza, a Reuben pizza or something like that for St. Patrick's Day, corned beef and cabbage.
Oh, yeah.
Things like that, a cheeseburger pizza.
Yeah.
But so we do a lot of different stuff back there. We show movies. We used to have a movie series that we would do once a month, and we're thinking about bringing that back.
I would be all
We set up a big giant screen, on the back on the stage. And so you just come out there and just hang out and drink beer and eat pizza and, watch a movie.
I'd be all over that.
I think our original one was Fritz the Cat, so that tells you the kind of stuff that we like to play.
I'm almost embarrassed to say as many times, as much pizza and calzone that I've eaten at your spot. So normally what I'll do is I'll walk in the front door and that table that's right in front of the window,
Right.
I usually sit at that one right there. But, I've never been in the back.
Have you not?
I haven't.
I'm surprised I hadn't given you the dog and pony show.
There's so many times that we talked about this too. Like one of my employees will be like, hey, can I get, 2 Saturdays off from now or 2 Thursdays off from now, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to a show at Vino's. And I'm like, man, I want to go to that show. Well, I can't go to that show because you're off. So now
So I've got to work. Yeah.
I'm giving you off. So, yeah, I'm embarrassed to say that I've never been in the back. You have a full bar back there, right?
Well, no, we just do beer and wine.
Okay. But I'm sorry. When I say full bar, I mean you have
We have a bar back there, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, so that's, it's basically a separate room where we do all the music and everything. We can seat, at lunch tables, we seat about between 80 and 100.
Heck yeah.
And standing room, I think the fire marshal's got us at about 175 rating.
Heard that.
But, we try to adhere to that most of the time,
Yeah.
as much as possible. But, yeah, it makes it easier to be able to do those types of things, because we are segregated a little bit as far as the restaurant side of things and then the back. But you can order food in the back. We get it delivered to the back room, or you can come up front and order whatever you want. We serve our beers back there, along with a lot of other beers.
Yeah.
And then we also have a 2-story deck out back. You got to walk through the maze back there. You go through the storage room and stuff, and
Right.
kind of like your place, sort of.
Yeah, you got to walk through the hallway, and
Yeah.
it's all storage. Yeah.
Exactly. And we've got this big 2-story deck back there that we use it as our smoking area,
Yeah, okay.
so that people don't stand in front of the door. And we were one of the last places to allow smoking, when we still could, but once it passed, it's been good for the business overall, really.
Oh, man.
I think everybody's business went up some.
Yeah, for sure.
Our hours shortened up too, because the late night drinkers were always the smokers.
Yeah.
The late night smokers were always how does that work?
Yeah.
But once they passed that, non-smoking in restaurants thing, I think it was really good for us. Our business during the early evenings went up 30%.
I think so. When they passed that back home, I don't know what year it was, but again, the Irish pub that I came up in was called the Horsham Inn, and for the longest time, the boss man was like, "Man, if we go non-smoking, dude, it's gonna hurt our business." But what he didn't realize at first was how many other people were gonna come in.
Wanted to come in and never would because it was so.
Yeah.
My whole deal was it was more of a personal choice, owner's prerogative kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't tell me how to run my business.
Yes. Yeah.
But I knew that it was going to come to that at some point. I always did. But I mean, I tried to fight it as long as possible, and I testified at a couple of different hearings at the Capitol and things over the years. And the funniest one to me, I say funny, but it really wasn't really that funny. I was kind of taken aback by it, and testifying in front of the committee meeting, and I was talking about the personal aspect of it. We're all adults. You can choose to come in, or you can choose not to come in. And don't tell me that you have to walk through the smoking area with your asthmatic child because we're your favorite restaurant. I'm sorry, you don't bring your asthmatic child into a smoking restaurant.
Right, yeah.
But we had a couple of high school kids testified, and one of them got up and said, it's like we can't even go to McDonald's anymore and eat. I was like, well, that's not the healthiest food in the first place, so what's They won anyway, but that's okay.
Right.
My clothes don't smell so bad at the end of the night.
And, it's one of the things the boss man back home didn't think about, too, is like, he would touch up paint here and there and this and that. It's like, wow, the walls aren't getting yellow anymore from the smoke. And, it's like, it actually helps out,
Well, it really does. It's like I say, it's much better for everybody involved.
Yeah, for sure.
My girlfriend would hate me when I'd come home after work.
Yeah.
2 a.m, she'd get in the shower.
Throw the clothes in the washing machine.
Outside, in the laundry room.
Yeah. I'm still on like COVID protocol. It's so funny. I'll go to like the culture next door. I'll like smoke a cigar or something like that. And when I come home, I call it the COVID protocol, where it's like I walk into the laundry room and just strip down, throw everything and right in. But my wife would be like, "Don't throw the cigar clothes in with my clothes. If it's in the all right, just throw them on the floor. All right, just leave them." It's funny though. So I mean, I say music venue, but you're pretty much an entertainment venue.
We're an entertainment venue, but we have had some great music over the years. We've always been lucky enough to be able to pick up a lot of these bands as they're up and coming.
Yeah.
Or even passing through during the week instead of on a weekend where they're going to Dallas, St. Louis, New Orleans,
right,
wherever, to Kansas City, and playing big shows, Memphis, Nashville. We would catch them on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night. And there's been lots of times when I saw really good bands back there with 10 people.
Right.
And you get, like the early years. Of course, the big story was always when we had Green Day there a couple of times, and
right.
Rancid and some of those guys, Rocket from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Some of these guys when nobody knew who they were.
Yeah.
But we've kind of packed them in there a few times.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, listen, man, Henry, I'm so happy that I was able to get you on. I really appreciate you coming on, man.
I really enjoyed it, man. It's always good talking to you.
And I tell everybody, man. You've been in the business for such a long time, but we'll have you back. Give me a year and a half. We'll come back and see where Vino's is.
We can come back. We can talk about fishing too.
Heck yeah. We'll talk about it all. Well, I really appreciate it, man. I'd like to thank Rusty Mathis. Rusty is the GM over here. This is Rusty's brainchild, and it's such an amazing platform to have, and I'm just happy to be here and to share everybody's story, because I know everybody in this business has one.
And there's some great stories out there.
Oh, there really are.
I've enjoyed really listening to the show.
I appreciate that, man. Kelly started out over here, and I'm just happy to be here, man. I'm just riding it while I can. It's awesome. I'd like to thank Rob Nelson. Rob is the head of tech over here. Rob's the guy making us sound good. And, Rob, love you, man. Thank you so much. He's a big supporter of us, too. And, he just loves the scene, and he does a great job over here.
We have a bunch of great restaurants in this town.
And we really do. So here's the next time, A Heaping Spoonful. You can find us on all the platforms, whether it be Apple or Spotify or Pandora. You find it. Hey, you have a website over there, Vinos?
VinosBrewPub.com.
VinosBrewPub.com. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I recommend Slice of Pizza, recommend the Calzone, and I'm going to go over and grab either the muffalata or the meatball. For sure.
Sounds great.
All right, here's the next time on Heaping Spoonful.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Heaping Spoonful. On behalf of all of us at Benny Keith Foods, Mid-South Division, please know how much we love connecting you with the legends of the culinary scene and their unique stories. I look forward to the next time we can offer you another Heaping Spoonful.